What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And UFC Denver, Namajunas versus Cortez. That's the state of the main events we've got right now. It takes place this weekend, and look, there are some fun fights on the card. The main event is whatever. There's only one reason I'm going to be watching. You can probably tell by the thumbnail. But there's actually some fun fights on the card that I'm looking forward to. A bunch of fights got added last minute, which are pretty cool fights too. So I'm going to give my full card predictions, and yeah, I'm going to sweep this card. So let's get started. So this isn't the first fight on the card, but I'm kind of doing these in a combination of the card order and my interest in the fight. And this fight I really don't have much interest in. I'm picking Santos to win by submission. Maria Agapova, there was a time when she was like some prospect and she was like a minus 1,300 favorite and lost by finish. Since then, she's been posting on her Instagram begging for money because she's apparently homeless, because she's a drug addict apparently. And yeah. I'm picking Santos. She's only got one loss on her record. She's got some finishing potential. And Maria Agapova just gets subbed a lot. So I'm going to pick her to win by submission. Maria Agapova's awful. And unless the crackhead strength comes through and unless she really needs the next fix, then I think she's going to lose this one. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, the other women's MMA fight. Or there's one for the main event, obviously, but the other less relevant one. Kline versus Jasudavicius. I'm going to go with Kline. And it's really annoying because I wanted her to be an underdog and I could be like, oh, look, I'm picking a women's MMA underdog. I'm intricate with it. But realistically, it's a fucking coin flip regardless. But Kline, she's 6-0. Coming off the regional scene, fought on CFFC, and look, when I was initially looking at this fight getting made on short notice, I was like, I'll probably pick Jasmine, I don't know who this bitch is, and I saw the fucking odds, and I was like, hang on a minute, what the fuck? Jasmine opened up at minus 250, Kline is now like a slight favourite. So I looked over Kline's record and I was like, okay, her opponents, they're 5-foot midgets, 5-foot overweight Mexican mums, like, who's she fighting? So I'm like, okay, I'll pick Jasmine. But then I'm like, okay, but sometimes with women's MMA, you can't just pick based off the record. Like, yeah, she's taking all these random overweight mothers group members to a fucking decision, but I'm like, oh, does that mean she's bad, or do I just have to watch the fight? So I dragged myself through the mud, I watched some fights, and she's actually pretty fun to watch. She hits slams, she hits good takedowns, all that stuff. Look, Jasmine doesn't really get taken down heaps, but Jasmine also got boxed up by Cortez in her second to last fight before the Cachoeira fight, and I don't rate her striking that much. She's bigger than Kline. Kline's an atom weight, or I think a straw weight or something. She says she's dropping to straw weight after this, so the size could be a concern, but I don't think Jasmine's taken this girl down. She trains with her in Blanchfield. She's got great grappling. She's a prospect in that sense. So I think she's actually going to be quicker than Jasmine Jasudavicius on the feet. And do I think her striking is incredible? No, but I've watched her on the feet and she actually looks somewhat capable as a martial artist. So I'm going to pick her to win. I wish she was an underdog, but apparently it seems like other people are in the same boat. But yeah, I'll pick Kline by decision. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up on the card, this is the actual opener of the prelims, but I'm more interested in this than the other women's MMA fights. I'm going to pick Andre Petroski to out-grapple Josh Fremd to a pretty boring decision. Fremd might have some good moments on the feet. His striking's not bad. It's not good either. His grappling's not terrible. He did beat Cedricus Damas with the grappling, but Cedricus Damas, aka 21 Savage, ain't that good. But Andre Petroski, look, I know he looked shit in his last fight, but Malkoon's a lot better than Fremd. I think Malkoon would smoke Fremd. And yeah, Fremd, he lost to Trayshawn Gore, didn't he? Trayshawn Gore's awful. So I think Andre Petroski is going to be a bit better. He's a bit stronger. He looks stronger than Josh Fremd. Fremd looks a bit frail. Looks like he'd be kind of tossed around a bit. So yeah, I'll go with Andre Petroski by a decision, probably 29-28. Maybe Fremd wins around by like keeping it on the feet, beating him up a little bit. But I think Petroski will get his takedowns enough to get the win. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up on the card, this is actually one of my more interesting fights of the card. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. Montel Jackson versus Blackshear. I'm going to pick Blackshear by decision, and he's also an underdog, so I'm taking an underdog here. Look, Montel Jackson, he's a great striker, right, but his last fight was over a year ago. You know, you KO'd Honey Yaya. Congratulations. He lost to Brett Johns, I think his name is. This guy took JP Bays, like, to the third round. Did he take him to the third round, or did he go decision? I think he went decision. But, like, you can't... If you're not finishing JP Buys in one round, you're not all that, in my opinion. And Montel Jackson... Look, I know he's pretty good. I know he's got good striking. Maybe we see a major level-up performance, but he got taken down a bunch in that fight that he lost. I think he got taken down like 8 times by Brett Johns. And Damon Blackshear is really good at getting takedowns. He's got great jiu-jitsu to take the back once he's there. And I think Montel Jackson just has a frame that I can see easily getting back taken. Do I think Jackson will get subbed? Probably not. I think he could stay out of danger there because his grappling's not terrible. But I think Blackshear's going to grapple his way to a decision. His striking's not bad either. He arguably outstruck and beat Mario Batista in the first 2 rounds. I mean, he did take him down a bit, but like a lot of that fight was standing, and he arguably won that fight. And Mario Batista is now a ranked bantamweight. So yeah, I'm picking Damon Blackshear as an underdog. Let's move on though to the next fight. Next up on the card, Josh Van versus Charles Johnson. I'm taking Josh Van. I'm pretty high on Josh Van. He's been in all my prospect videos. I talk about him a lot. He's cool. He's a great striker. I think he's like the next, like a mini Max Holloway, but just without the granite chin at flyweight. Like, that's the style that he gives me. He's got major fucking pressure boxing, walks forward all the time. Those combinations like there's no tomorrow. This guy's combinations are sick. He mixes it up to the body. This guy almost broke the record for most body shots in a flyweight fight. He was like 2 off in his second fight in the UFC. And the commentators were going crazy for him. But yeah, Josh Van, great striker. Has been cracked a couple times, does get wobbled a bit. Not much, but he has been cracked. But Charles Johnson, he's not a guy that's really finishing anyone that much. He goes to a decision a lot, so I don't think Van's going to finish him. I would love to see a finish from Josh Van, put on a big statement, but I do think he's going to like get a 30-27, pretty clear, dominant decision. And just in the later rounds, I know Johnson's got pretty good cardio, but even we might see Johnson look worse in the later rounds because it's just hard to deal with. Similar to Peter Yan, they download the reads a little bit, they chill for a round, and then he just goes, and then it's like a fucking avalanche. It's like a snowball. It just rolls downhill, and then it becomes harder and harder to stop, and then you're cooked. And yeah, I think Josh Van will beat him up a bunch. Charles Johnson, not the most durable guy, like he got dropped early by Azar Maxim, but I think Josh Van can just output his way to a decision. Way too much volume for Charles Johnson, way clean. The striking is just way cleaner. And if Charles Johnson wins with just some shitty range striking, it's going to piss me off. So yeah, I think Josh Van should win this fight. Let's move on to the next fight. Next up on the card, Cody Brundage versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I'm going to pick Abdul Al Razak Al Hassan by a KO in the first round, maybe second round. I think he can get this done by TKO because Brundage needs to take him down. I don't think this goes well for Brundage if it's on the feet. I know Brundage stuffed a couple takedowns from Bo Nickel, and people be like, oh, he stuffed takedowns from Bo Nickel. Abdul's not a wrestler. He doesn't really wrestle people much. And look, even though he did lose to Joe Pyfer, that's not a terrible look. Like, he got thumped up a bit by Joe Pyfer, subbed in the second, but most guys get KO'd immediately by Joe Pyfer. So he took some shots off him. I don't think Brundage is going to land some big, ugly overhand to KO him. So if this fight takes place on the feet, which I think it will, I think Abdul early is going to be strong enough to stuff the takedowns, kind of just shuck him off. Probably not even use much technique, just be too physical. He's a big jacked dude, pause, no sketch. But big jacked black dude, no sketch. But yeah, I think Abdul can keep it on the feet, beat him up, land his shots, and Brundage just isn't good at all. I know people are like starting to think, oh, maybe he's not terrible. He's terrible. Just because Bo Nickel didn't sub him immediately doesn't mean he's good. That just means Bo Nickel's jiu-jitsu is garbage. And also, beating Zach Reese by slam KO means fuck all. It's not a real way to win a fight. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, we got Christian Rodriguez versus Julian Erosa. I'm picking C-Rod by probably decision. Look, he could get a finish, but have we seen him finish anyone recently? No, not really. Went decision with Bulgarian. He loses early, that's the thing. So, Erosa does have the capability to, wrap up a choke or something, but I just don't think Rodriguez is going to get subbed. I think it's a pretty safe pick here. What's his name? Erosa's just too open. He's way too open on the feet. He's able to be taken down. Look, he's got some crafty neck submissions. He'll go for a guillotine, go for a dash choke, this kind of stuff. But apart from that, if you keep it on the feet at range with him, his striking defense is dismal. That he got fucking head kick KO'd by Caceres. Caceres is not a guy that finishes people. So yeah, I'm picking C-Rod. He should win. He beat Rosas, who's actually not bad, and then he beat Isaac Bulgarian and survived his round 1 onslaught, which is pretty impressive. So maybe he takes a bit of a beating early, but even Erosa's not a guy that like hands out a beating. Like, he's not a guy that just puts it on you and then gasses. So I don't think it's going to look like that. I think it's going to look a bit more like the Simon fight, but just a bit more dominant from C-Rod. Pretty dominant 30-27 decision is my prediction. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up on the card, Gabriel Bonfim versus Loosa. I'm going to be picking Gabriel Bonfim by round 1 submission. Loosa does kind of look like a guy that wouldn't get subbed, but I don't know, I haven't checked his record, I can't be bothered. This is not one I did research for, I'm just like, yeah. This is one of those fights where I'm like, Gabriel Bonfim, Loosa, maybe I'll try and be intricate with it. Nah, I'll just pick Gabriel Bonfim. I assume he's a pretty big favourite. He's a great fighter, though. Like, he was whooping Nicholas Dalby, he was whooping him, and don't forget, like, Renat, he had a better first round against Dalby than Renat. And I know Renat didn't gas because Bonfim gassed, but I think that's a good thing for a prospect. Take that loss. Know that you can't just run over everyone. Know that you can't just grapple fuck everyone and then they won't do anything back. Like, it's good to experience adversity. Same with like BSD. He got whooped up by Santos, came back, looked great, started smoking people. Like, not the same situation, but similar. Like, you fight an old veteran, they've been around, they just survive. Like, you can't just expect to run over everyone immediately. I think Bonfim will come out a bit more calculated. I don't think we're going to see some, like, 1 minute submission like he did in his 2 fights before the Dalby fight. I think he'll be calculated with the grappling, take him down pretty easy. Loosa is not all that. Even on the feet, I think Bonfim could do pretty well. We haven't seen much of him on the feet, but even on the feet, he was cracking Dalby a little bit. So yeah, I'll pick Bonfim to win by submission eventually. I'll go round 1, maybe it comes later on, because I am saying he'll be more calculated, but I still think round 1 submission for Bonfim. He'll make a statement, get a bonus probably. And yeah, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got the Master Dober versus Gene Silva. I'm picking Gene Silva because Master Dober might not be Master Dober. Master Dober, sorry. We had our theories confirmed with the Moicano fight, where, like, is a Brazilian enough? Because he beat Alves, but Alves is obviously more tanned. So we had our theories checked with Moicano, where, like, is Moicano dark enough? Is Moicano enough of a criminal for Dober to win? And the answer was no. Moicano is a good law-abiding citizen who loves money and he loves private property. But Gene Silva is even lighter than Moicano, if not the same shade. I don't think he's going to have the motivation. Mike Davis was the opponent. So Dober was channeling all of his rage. He was channeling all of his skills, all of his, clucks powers, you could call them, to Mike Davis. And now he's had to let those out because he can't use them on Gene Silva. You can't. It's not possible. He will not physically bring himself harm to a, like, Caucasian looking, I know Gene Silva's Brazilian, but, like, to a white looking dude. So I'm picking Gene Silva. But no, all jokes aside, for that 1 minute race breakdown, no, Gene Silva, I think he's a way better striker than Dober, to be honest. Dober, I know we see him get KOs and we're like, damn, this dude just murks people on the feet, but a lot of the time, this dude got whooped up by McKinney early, guys getting whooped up by Bobby Green, like Alves was having a lot of success, Matt Frevola KO'd him. I know Frevola's white, but again, same situation. Ricky Glenn, that's the outlier, that's like the Dober had to come back, he had to throw everyone off the scent, We're still onto you, Dober. We know that you're not. We know that you're still got that motivation in you. But he did have to bring himself to, unfortunately, harm another white man in Ricky Glenn. But a lot of his fights, like, he just gets tagged a lot. Gene Silva's going to be way quicker than him. Gene Silva's shot placement, that sounds like a weird thing to say, but the way Gene Silva times his shots, places them, I think it caused Dober problems because Frevola was landing a lot on this dude. Frevola caught him with a big shot over the top. And it's not like Frevola just like, he's got brute power for sure, but Frevola was quicker in that fight. And if you have a speed difference, like this dude lost to Brad Riddell. I know like a lot of the time he gets grappled. Gene Silva could grapple, but even on the feet, we saw it in the Frevola fight. You can catch him early. And, like, bro, Gene Silva, the way he caught Jourdain, he just KO'd Jourdain, who'd never been KO'd before that. I think Dober's obviously got a better chin than Jourdain. But still, Gene Silva, I think he can catch Dober. I think he'd be too quick for him, too elusive. He doesn't get hit heaps. Maybe he gets KO'd. I don't think so. I think he's going to keep the momentum going. And I think our theory of Dober requiring melanated opponents to win is going to be confirmed once again, and I think Gene Silva's going to win. And then he's going to be like, and then he's going to have to think, does he want to fight at lightweight or featherweight? Because I think I know lightweight is like considered the most skilled division, but we do a lot of the time see featherweights go up and give lightweights problems. Holloway, Gaethje, Volk, Islam, like this shit happens. Featherweights go up and they're a little bit too quick, they're a bit too elusive, and lightweights, so a lot of them just slug a lot of the time. You don't see as many just straight up brawls at featherweight as you do at lightweight. You don't see the Gaethje Poirier ones and the Chandler Gaethjes. You don't see a lot of those fights at featherweight. These guys, they're more elusive, they get out of danger a lot easier in my opinion. So yeah, I still think lightweight is like a more skilled weight class. I think a lot of the grappling there is better, but Dober's grappling leaves a lot to be desired. He gets taken down a bunch. Gene Silva, yeah, I think he's way quicker on the feet. I think he's better. I think the power, obviously Dober's got a bit more power, but Dober has been cracked. It's not like we now see fire hydrant chin of the West. Dober can't be KO'd. He can be KO'd. Favola did it. Gene Silva, I think, can do the same. Catch him with maybe an uppercut, maybe a right hand over the top, something like that. I think he can just get Dober in some weird situation. He's got nasty elbows in the clinch too. So I think he's going to surprise Dober here. Dober's probably thinking, oh, there's some random featherweight coming up on short notice. Gene Silva, I think he's going to catch him. So Gene Silva by TKO is the pick. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, we got Santiago Ponzabibio versus Muslim Salikhov. We got the retirement home matchup. We got two 40-year-olds here. Two senior citizens, and I think Ponzabibio is going to be the better of the senior citizen because I watch him fight and he still does have a bit of crack. He's got a bit of pop. He's still got a bit of speed as well. Look, he was kind of getting tuned up by Morono a little bit before he got the finish in their fight, but that was a while ago, which is a terrible look. But Salikhov, he looked awful against Randy Brown. He's so much slower. He throws big slug and overhands. Maybe Ponzabibio gets caught, but I feel like Ponzabibio is the guy that gets caught by like straight, quick shots like Holland caught him with. Not so much big looping, slugging overhands. I don't know. I'm picking Ponzi by decision. Salikhov, I don't know, he KO'd Andre Fialho, congrats. You got KO'd by Li Jingliang. Not a terrible look, Li's pretty good, but again, I don't want you getting KO'd by Li Jingliang. Like, Jingliang's got made power. I think Jingliang might have KO'd Ponzi as well, to be fair. But, never mind. Anyway, I still think Ponzi's a bit better. Probably got the better grappling too. I don't know, better striking. I've done no research for this fight. This is one of the ones I couldn't be fucked. I just looked at it. I'm like, yeah, I'll pick Ponzi. I want Ponzi to win too. I don't like Salikhov. Because he's, but nah, Salikhov's alright, but I just don't like him that much. Let's move on to the main event. Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Probably the only reason you clicked on this video, because of the thumbnail. Maybe I succeeded, maybe I didn't, I'm not sure. But if you're here already, you waited. You know what you wanted. And look, the breakdown of this fight, obviously, Rose Namajunas, she has very minimal assets. Tracy Cortez, assets. That's all we can say. She's got assets. No, but fight breakdown, I'm picking Namajunas. I want Cortez to win. It'd be cool to see her win, and also, if Cortez wins, I'd love to see her win through the grappling. No, but if she's going to win, I think it would actually be on the feet, to be honest, because her boxing actually looked pretty good in her last fight. And Rose doesn't look amazing. So, do I think that there is potential value on Cortez bringing an upset here? This does seem like a spot where Cortez could get the win. But Rose has been there. She's done that. She's been groomed. I don't know if Cortez has been groomed. I think if you've been groomed, you're gonna be better at MMA. Like, look at the two of them. Obviously, we know who's hotter. We know who you'd rather take home for a night. But that's not what works in MMA. In MMA, you pick the exact opposite. You pick the uglier one. You pick the one that looks more lesbian. Even though Rose is literally married to a male. But again, was groomed. Was abused probably. Was potential, had that situation, she had to fight her way out of so many threats from Pat Barry, We've seen those videos of her training when she went and punched him while he's asleep. You think more of that's not going on? You think more of time she's not having to defend herself from a vicious attacker who's clearly asleep? I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, no, Rose, I'm trying to be funny with this because fucking the fight's got nothing to it, really. Rose will probably be too quick for her, take her down, probably. Cortez got taken down by Jasudavicius. I'd love to see Cortez win. She would be a good fighter to have at the top. If she wins this, they could get her on the no-shake card. That'd be pretty cool against a top opponent. Imagine Cortez versus Grasso for the belt, bro. I'm saying that's what we need, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'll pick Namajunas to win by decision. I think Cortez will actually have a pretty good showing, but later rounds as well. Hasn't been training for altitude. She'll probably get a bit tired. So I could see maybe like a 49-46, 48-47 decision for Rose Namajunas. That's the end of the video, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, follow my Instagram, Left Lane MMA. I'm still really sick. I sound fucking retarded. I sound like Royal Rosas. But yeah, peace out, guys. See ya. Drop some videos in the comments you want to see as well. Bye.